So please just tell me if I'm crazy. Probably am. So on top of being a solo dad to 2 girls, having a 9 to 5 job, working on this growing, thriving podcast that we have here every single week, apparently I thought that just wasn't enough stuff. I can add more things to my plate. Why not? And so as of today, as of this morning, I officially became a homeschool dad to one of my daughters. We talked about this recently on the podcast, but on the podcast I kind of just mentioned that we were still deciding about doing it, still hadn't made up our minds. Well, since that episode came out, we made up our mind. One of my daughters just really was adamant about being homeschooled for like the last year. She kept bringing it up to me, to her mom, and I was the one who kept shutting it down. So like, no, you need to go to school, you need to be social, you need to do all these things. But I never took the time really to sit down with her and hear her why and hear her heart behind asking to be homeschooled and things of that nature. So long story short, I realized I needed to do a better job of making my kids feel heard and seen, and realizing that as a dad of a 10 and 9-year-old, my girls are growing, they're becoming their own people. They're not just these little toddlers that I tote around and they follow me around while I do everything I need to do. They're individuals with their own personalities and their own desires, and in this case, their own learning styles. So I was like, yeah, I should probably pay attention to that and act on that and have some conversations regarding that reality. So the conversations began, and then obviously here we are, homeschooling. Now, I'm not sitting down doing the actual teaching with my kids. Like, I'm not up there, or with my daughter, like, I'm not up there in front of a chalkboard doing A plus B equals Y squared and all that stuff. Like, she has a cool online program. She does what she needs to do. And I work on my computer doing my 9 to 5 stuff, doing my podcast stuff as well. And it went pretty well. First day, it went pretty successfully, I would say. Like, she did everything that she needed to get done. She had lunch. She's in there right now doing some kind of science experiment with cornstarch. So if my shirt's looking a little musty dusty, it's because the fact that she's doing that, and my living room's probably a disaster right now, but c'est la vie. But I don't know, I was just nervous all weekend leading up to today, because as I kind of joked at the beginning of this video, I do have a lot going on, and it's a lot on my plate. So to add like one more thing, I was like, I don't know. But I've always just been a big proponent of hearing my kids out, doing what I need to do to create the space in their lives for them to become their own people, for them to thrive, for them to succeed, for them to grow into the women that they feel like they need to be. And sometimes doing that and cultivating that space means it's going to be a little inconvenient for us as parents, right? Like, we got to maybe get a little uncomfortable, out of our comfort zones a little bit. So here we are. But like I said, maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I'm crazy. One of my younger daughter, she still is at her traditional school. She, again, talking about personalities, would not have loved to be homeschooled. We'll just say that would have been a disaster for her and for me. She cannot sit still that long. But this works for my older daughter, because her personality is very attentive, very structured, very let me sit down and do what I need to do, and I'll get this done. My younger daughter, not so much. She loves the chaos. She loves to get out and party. But I guess somebody at her school asked her, like, hey, are you going to be homeschooled like your big sister? And she's like, no, I'm staying here. I want to stay here. And I guess the faculty or the teacher or whatever was like, oh, well, apparently you're the only smart one in your family then. And just stuff like that. Like, people always have stuff to say. People always have opinions. People always got to judge. But I don't know. Again, maybe I'm crazy, but I just believe I just got to do what's best for my kids, meet them where they are. And even though it may not make sense on paper, sometimes thriving just means thinking outside of the box a little bit. Hence why our little slogan here on the Single Parents Podcast is far from traditional. I messed up my own slogan. And because it's true, it's the reality. Sometimes things don't always turn out cookie cutter, black and white for everybody. Sometimes people's lives end up a little off the beaten path, and that's okay. And if that's your life, here on the Single Parents Podcast, we love it. We love to see it. Love to celebrate it. That's my story. I'm done yapping. I'm done yapping. Like I said, my daughter's in there doing science. I'm just mostly procrastinating because I know when I go inside, it's probably going to be a disaster. We'll have to clean that up. But that's the life, baby. That's the life.